for checking us out for another episode. We're going to learn and grow with one another. But I also want to make the premise of, especially for those who like to think that racism is dead, who like to sweep it under the rug. And I keep telling you, you can't do that because it's never going to die. It's never going to go under the rug. It will just come right back out. So with that in mind, I show these videos to be a reminder to you, to keep you afloat of things, to keep you cognizantly aware of things. Because again, it's never going to die, it's never going to go away. So let's check it out here.
The white is the highest and the Negro the lowest of the so-called 5 races of men. And they present the most striking contrast to each other in their physical and mental characters, their modes of life, habits, customs, manner, language, gestures, etc. End of quote. Mr. Carroll goes on to say on page 286 and 287, and I quote, "But with this interesting family of animals, shading up from the lemur, L-E-M-U-R, small monkey, to the Negro, we are able with the assistance of the scriptures." Now, I want you to get this because we're trying to find the roots. Why do people think the way they do? See, it's a program thing, but we need to understand where the program came from, how the program works, so that we can interrupt the program.
Right.
And change the program.
Right.
But if we don't know, then it looks, it's a mystery and you'll never be able to solve it. All right? We are able with the assistance of the scriptures. See, racism in the church was spawned by the ministry.
Absolutely.
And therefore it filtered into society, started in the church, started with the so-called preachers of the gospel. They were the primary purveyors of this garbage about inferior and superior and all the other things connected with racial or ethnic pride, prejudice, etc. See? And they try to wrap it in the authenticity of the Bible. And that's why a lot of people don't want to have anything to do with the Bible. They want to have anything to do with Christianity. See? And that's a horrible thing for Jesus to have to go through after he gave so much to redeem us all.
Right.
For those that are supposedly called by him to prostitute the ministry to their own personal selfish idiosyncrasies and prejudices. Listen carefully. We are able with the assistance of the scriptures and the sciences to determine that the Negro is one of the ape family. That he simply stands at the head of the ape family as the lion stands at the head of the cat family. Hence the lower apes, though unfit for general domestic purposes, are invaluable, in that they enable us to determine beyond question the Negro's true position in the universe, that he is merely an ape. End of quote. Mr. Carroll further states on page 287, I quote, "Besides, it should be borne in mind that though the Negro is omnivorous, he manifests a strong preference for the flesh of man as an article of food. The characteristics clearly identify the Negro as the creature," oh, pick up on this, "as the creature in the scripture, as the beast of the field." End of quote. On page 391, Mr. Carroll says, I quote, "Dr. Clark," whoever Dr. Clark was, seemed like I think he was some biblical scholar. "Dr. Clark manifested a commendable independence of thought and action when he abandoned the absurd theory of the modern clergy that the tempter of Eve was a snake. He made a creditable advance upon the snake theory when he proved the tempter of Eve an ape. Yet It is at once a matter of surprise and regret that after thus advancing so far in the right direction, he should have stopped at one of the so-called the orang, an orangutan, which is a monkey, when a step further would have taken him to the Negro, the identical ape he was seeking. The Negro meets all the requirements of the case. He is the only animal that does. He possesses the erect posture, articulate speech, and more reasoning capacity than any other animal. And these characteristics place him at the head of the apes, and consequently at the head of all inferior animals for wisdom and understanding. Besides, the Negro is an inveterate talker, babbler, and is withal one of the most noisiest animals in the world. End of quote. Now, you see, you laugh at the absurdity. Wonder how can an intelligent person concoct such a story?
Right.
But the church, and primarily the white church, and don't take this personally. I'm sorry, y'all are the ones that are the majority. You started this stuff. It wasn't blacks that went to Europe and grabbed white folk and brought them over here and put them in slavery. It was your ancestors, white folks. Now, I don't mean that, personally, so don't take it personally. But we need to know this is your heritage. This is a white man writing this. Remember now, that book, copyright 1902. 96 years ago. But this stuff is still alive today.
All right. Now, what I'd like to add into this is he was reading from the book The Negro, penned by Charles Carroll. And I believe the underwriting of that is The Negro a Beast? Now, for many decades, years, we have been called apes, monkeys. We have been put in the category of the primate. And basically, we've been put in that category because of the color of our skin, right? But did you ever stop to think? Going back to the scientists themselves, evolutionists, what do they say? Now, when they say this, they're thinking in terms of the white man. So what do they say? They say that, not believing in God now, they say that man evolved from apes. Well, take it even back a step further. They talk about the Big Bang Theory, how we somehow, everything came together happenstantly via an amoeba. And then somehow we evolved from apes. Now, when they say this, they're referencing the white man also, right? They're referencing the white man also. So how is it, how can it be both ways then? Now, when the white racist wants to call us names and say we came from apes and whatnot, then they're excluded, right? Come on now, make this make sense, right? They're excluded, but we're not. When they want to make fun of us, but when they want to get technical, then all of a sudden there is inclusivity. Hope I'm saying that right. You see what I'm saying? That's why I had on the cover, the photo, there's a picture of myself, there's a picture of Fred Price, There's a picture of Mo Howard of the Three Stooges. There's a picture of Ron Perlman, the actor. I put those two on there since the black man is supposed to look like an ape. Do I look like an ape? Does Fred Price look like an ape? But yet you look at Mo Howard with the ears and just the features he has. Wouldn't he resemble a primate also? I mean, if we're going that direction, what about Ron Perlman? I've always thought he resembled a primate. See, it's the things like that that when a racist will come out and say these things, it doesn't make sense. Just like back in the day when they would have black the black females come over, preferably heavy set, knows how to cook, have her in the kitchen, got her hands all in the kitchen, I mean all in the food product and everything, even nursing their young, but yet we couldn't drink out of the same water fountain. Make it make sense. This is why I bring this up. Racism isn't going away. It won't go away until the end of time. Why? Because it's sin. Sin isn't going away until the end of time, until Jesus comes back. So don't act like it's gone away. Don't act like it's been, it's, don't put your head in the sand. And if you are, I'm going to call you out for it. Don't put your head in the sand. Don't act like it doesn't exist. I've had too many people say, well, if you talk about it, it just keeps going on and on. I could be mute. The thing is, it's still going to go on. We need those in the Word, those who seek justice, those who seek righteousness. We need to speak up. We need to speak up because here's the thing. If you don't speak up, you're part of the problem. You add to the problem. You add to the situation. You exacerbate it. So, again, I don't say this uh, to make trouble or anything like that. Some of you think I'm doing. I don't say this to be out of pocket. Some of you think, oh, you need to talk about the word. This is part of the word. It's sin. It's part of the word. And I talk about plenty of other things also. So I hope you learned something from this. And really the thing to learn from this is don't put your head in the sand, don't sleep on it. That's it.